Jesus in Matthew chapter 4 goes down to the Sea of Galilee where he invites and re-invites his disciples by saying, "Come and see." He's inviting these disciples into this deeper connection with himself and this invitation to a lifestyle of discipleship in a way that these men along the Sea of Galilee would be forever connected to each other and deeply transformed for a lifetime, a transformation that would change the world. That's the challenge of St. Michael's Church, of being deeply connected to each other as an urban church where many of us come from different parts of the Charleston region. It can be very hard to maintain that connection in a way that leads to discipleship. Along with that is the blessing of 48 people moving to Charleston, to the area every single day, including newborn babies. And we want to be the first as a church to connect with all of the people moving in, as well as all the people that are within St. Michael's already. So if you're doing the math at home, that's 48 people a day, 336 people a week, 1,344 people a month, and 16,128 people moving to Charleston every year. Our sanctuary should be bursting at the seams. So there are two words I want us to focus in on this summer and fall. As I enter into my 10th year as a rector and as we continue moving more deeply into our vision of transforming hearts through Jesus Christ, the two words to focus in on are connections and discipleship. But first, connection. How can we connect more deeply as a congregation? Yes, we have 4 different services, very different from each other every Sunday. Therefore, how can we connect more deeply beyond worship and even beyond our life groups? So, to that end and for that goal, we have created what we call the First Connect team, led by Lois, Daughtridge, and Merilee. And their mission is to help us connect more deeply with each other and, of course, more deeply into the city of Charleston.
When you bring people in from the community, we have to connect with them so that we can have relationships, because people come to the church so that they can have relationships with other Christians or with the Lord, with the church. And I remember the first time that I came to St. Michael's. I was very nervous. I had not been to St. Michael's. I had been going to another church. And it was so wonderful because the people around me welcomed me and made me feel that I was a part of their little area of the church.
How Merilee and I got to know each other was I was at coffee after church. And she's told me since she looks for the loneliest person in the room and goes up and talks to them. So I think that was me. And we struck up a friendship, and I'm just so glad to know you and feel connected to you, not only through church, but personally and on the outside of church.
These two amazing and hardworking leaders have been working alongside Nancy Harwick, who's been our interim director of the Alpha Ministry.
First Connect is really important to us because it's about how we reach out into our community and how we are able to invite people into our faith community and then into our other ministries. So they could be ministries that are like the women's ministry or the men's ministry, but also Alpha, so that people can really begin to understand the tenets of the faith and explore a deeper relationship with Christ.
So connection, our first word. But once people get here, what do we want them to connect into? Well, the answer, of course, is discipleship. We want to connect our new people into discipleship, our existing members of St. Michael's into deeper learning, deeper discipleship, in such a way that mission becomes simply a byproduct of what we're doing in discipleship. To that end, and several months ago, I formed a discipleship task force chaired by Susan DiCamillo. There are many members of this task force, including Charles Waring. Together, they are making recommendations to me as to how we proceed further as a congregation into this deeper level of discipleship so that we really are a church of disciples who are making disciples.
I think that discipleship is a really fascinating and exciting way to deepen the connections that we've been talking about earlier. In a Christian context, the connections that we start can even go deeper in the sense of discipleship. I think that the opportunity to really dive deep, to develop relationships that are deeper, to develop intentionality and accountability to other people, to really look closely at Scripture and to really integrate that more and more into your life is a very exciting opportunity for Christian maturity, and I also think it adds to the richness and depth of a congregation. The research that we've been doing has shown that churches that really do intentional discipleship can transform an entire congregation, and I think that possibility is an opportunity that any congregation should be delighted to be involved in.
Well, the value in discipleship I see is following the commission, is following the commandment, really, of Jesus, to go and make disciples. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But when you're following the commandment of Jesus, you're doing the Lord's work. Absolutely. So, I mean, that is, there's no question about why it's right or why it's inspirational. So that's really the caffeine in my coffee, so to speak.
So dream with me as we more deeply connect with each other and our fantastic city, so that together we can make disciples who are making disciples.